quality. I don't know if you can hear me or not, so we'll figure this out, but I'm up here at Tohickon Creek, Bucks County, so below Lake Nakamixon. This is right by the mill, so just upstream of the mill, the Ralph Stover Mill. So you can kind of get a look at the area. Little bridge here, Ralph Stover Mill in the background. And this is a dam that supported the mill a long time ago. So dam is still here. Fish tend to congregate around here. Lots of oxygen, obviously. So they like the area. Lots of food being funneled their way. What I got here today is actually not fly fishing gear. This is actually spinning gear, right? Shimano reel, Okuma spinning rod, 5.5 foot about, ultralight. So what I'm going to do is just kind of fish with this and then break out the fly fishing gear, fish with that, and see how I do on either one. Hopefully I'll have success on both. Kind of something new. All right, here we go, first cast. I will say it's about 11 a.m. It's May. It's May 6th, Friday, May 6th. And it is currently rainy. So nice light rain. The current lure I'm using is a Johnson minnow spin, rainbow trout color. I believe it's like 1/16 ounce. I like the white back. This is trout stock, this stream. I'm not sure how many trout are left, but they do stock it in April, just before trout season, and I think just following the opening of trout season, maybe by a week or so. Obviously, this stream doesn't stay cold all year long. It stays relatively cold because it's supported just by Lake Nakamixon and rainfall. But basically, Lake Nakamixon has a discharge rate that is continuous to support the stream, the Tohickon Creek. So the water generally just comes out of Lake Nakamixon. So while they do stock it early in the year, I doubt the trout make it much past June. This stream gets very, very shallow. It'll get very warm, and trout cannot live very long in warm, shallow water. I will say I do primarily fly fish, but when I'm with my kids, or my whole family really, my wife and my kids, I use a lot of spinning gear. And there's something on the line. Looks like a red breast sunfish. Real fun on ultralight spinning gear, right? Very similar to lightweight fly gear. So that is a nice red breast sunfish. Catch a lot of these in here. Oh, it's got some parasites, something on its fin. But anyways, what I was saying is this lightweight gear, real fun, kind of like fishing with like a 3-weight, 4-weight. I think I'm snagged. See if we can pull ourselves out. What I like to do is kind of just pull directly at me. Right? I don't like to bend the rod. I just like to pull the line straight at me with even pressure. That way you don't snap your rod. you don't snap your line. Hopefully you can pull your lure out, and look, you can tell we were just stuck on some underwater vegetation, right? So easy enough to pull out. I believe this is only 4-pound test line. I know this rod is meant for anywhere from 1-pound test to 4-pound test, so I believe I put 4-pound test on it. Generally speaking, it's, you know, 4-pound test is pretty light in my opinion. I mean, I could have gone down to, you know, 2-pound, but might as well put a little bit heavier. Have a little bit of ability to pull out of snags. Get some fish. I can still cast pretty far. You know, 20, 30 yards without really putting much effort into it. Try to fish this other side over here. I mean, we are looking for, you know, any fish, but it'd be nice to catch like bass. I've caught bass out of here before. I've caught smallmouth, I've caught largemouth. Again, it'd be nice to catch anything, but might as well try to catch some of those warm water species that call this home. Again, I do apologize if you can't hear me very well. There is that waterfall in the background causing a lot of noise. Again, using an inline spinner. Generally for creek fishing, it's a good way to go. Catch a lot of different species on an inline spinner. It's going to imitate, you know, lots of different things, mainly, you know, bait fish, tiny bait fish, but makes a lot of vibration, has a lot of flash to it. I'd say the biggest drawback is you get line twist. All right, so you just got to be careful with developing too much line twist. Like I said, I'm using 4-pound line. It's 4-pound fluorocarbon. Really didn't care too much to put on, you know, a 4-pound mono and then a 4-pound leader of fluorocarbon, just 100% fluorocarbon. It's not that expensive. I mean, compared to fly fishing gear, it's not expensive at all. But if you want to save a little bit of money, you could throw on some 4-pound fluorocarbon, possibly even up to, 4-pound mono, or, you know, on your reel for the base, and then just, you know, run a, you know, 3-4 foot leader, maybe more if you want, of fluorocarbon, which gives you a little bit of advantage with, you know, resistance to cutting, and it's also a little more invisible in the water. Has to do with like light refraction. But for me, it's just easy enough just to run, and cheap enough really to run 100% fluorocarbon. You know, 4-pound test line isn't exactly that expensive to begin with. All right, we're gonna come back to this side again. Maybe fish this, I believe I'm on a rock. So this stream has a lot of rocks in it. First time I fished here was actually last year. and I was just shocked at the amount of rocks. You can tell I bent my hook a little bit. Do my best to try to bend it back. But I was surprised about how the amount of rocks in here and just the snags. Line's all twisted. Something I usually don't have to deal with too often is just getting my line stuck on my rod. Like, for me, that's a big difference in, you know, spin fishing and fly fishing. I don't tend to get like really thin line wrapped around my pole. If I do get line wrapped around my fly pole, it's fly line, which is really thick, so it's much easier to see and, you know, get the knots out. This stuff is like, oh man, you get like knots and dings and dents, and the line just never looks the same after that. So it can be a little more frustrating, but at least it's, you know, you can cut it and start over if you really had to. I guess not too different from like if you're casting and you get your, you know, with a fly line, get your leader and tippet material kind of all twisted up. Again, if it's really frustrating, you can just cut your tippet line and start over, or, you know, your leader you could cut and start over as well. You really also got to check these lures for any sort of booger or, you know, anything stuck on the lure, because that lure loses all of its action if you get one little piece of algae stuck on it or leaf or something. So just make sure you're watching your lure through the water. Make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I might switch up to a jerkbait, crankbait in a second. Obviously something lightweight, meant for this lightweight rod. I have some trout magnet you know, crankbaits that they're very light. I'm gonna say they're at most a 1/4 ounce. I don't even know if they're that big, but they're light and they can do the trick. Try to get a couple more further casts out there, trying to cover as much water as possible. And we're not going to sit at this section all day. I'm probably going to spend another maybe 10-15 minutes here. Oh, there's a fish. Ooh, what do we got there? Almost looks like I snagged it. Oh, it's a rainbow trout. Look at that guy. Woo! Alright. Let's treat it well as we can. Alright, buddy. Relax. 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 Alright, he's not gonna relax. Okay, and you know what? He's big enough, we'll keep him. Look at that. Got a little bag here. Nice little plastic bag we just throw him in. Come on, buddy. Generally, I don't keep fish too often, but these guys are stockers. They're gonna die anyways. So we'll just keep him here. All right. All right, just dispatched that rainbow trout. Put him in the bag, whacked him with a rock. So 2 fish today. So 1 pretty big red breast sunfish, which was eaten size. But, you know, throw them back. They're native. Not going to keep them. But I did harvest that rainbow trout. Take them back home. Gut them. Cook them up. See if we can get any more. I think I was just snagged there. Felt like a hit as soon as the lure hit the water, but you could tell it was not a hit. A little bit of a underwater vegetation, probably stuck to the top of a rock or something. Again, this water's very shallow, gets full sun. Kind of a agriculture-y area, right? You know, so there's nutrients around. The vegetation is just going to grow and grow and grow, you know. Really the only thing that's going to take care of it is a nice flood scour. You know. I anticipate I'll probably be the only one out here today. Again, the weather's not great. It's probably 55, 60 degrees. Water temperature didn't feel too bad. Water temperature is probably 65. Could be a little cooler than that. Again, very shallow. It's, you know, being fed from the lake. And again, you know, lake's going to take a while to heat up. So, if I catch a few more fish, maybe I'll just switch over to the fly fishing gear and see if I can do any better on, you know, with the fly rod. Not really doing a comparison, right? I mean, it's, you know, thinking about doing videos and it's like, oh, you know, let's compare fly fishing to spin fishing gear from a production, you know, the amount of fish you catch standpoint, and that's all dependent on so many different variables. I mean, it's just, I don't think you could appropriately just say, all right, let's put one against the other. I mean, you're using different lures, different colors possibly, you know, different species, different time of day, you know, just way too many variables to appropriately, you know, try to compare. I will say the learning curve on spinning gear, generally speaking, I think is, you know, a lot less than fly fishing, right? I think fly fishing is just slightly more complicated. I mean, I guess I'm not the best person to ask because I've been fly fishing for, you know, 30 years. But I mean, I you know, picked up spin fishing gear over the last like 2 years. You know, after not throwing spin fishing gear for, you know, quite a long time, and it's, you know, pretty easy concept. So, and my kids picked it up really fast. There's a lot less coordination involved because the casting is, you know, more like throwing when compared to like fly fishing, where the casting is a little more complicated. gonna put 3 more casts out there, then I'm gonna change my lure. See if we can do any better on, you know, a fish imitation crankbait or something like that. So I kind of felt like I had a bite there, but again, I don't know. Hooks are clean. Might have been something swiping at it over there. I think I'm snagged. Again, just pull straight towards you. Pull yourself right out. Again, I think I'm bending the hooks a little bit, but you know, only 4-pound test. I can only put so much pressure on it. Oh wow, that's a golden. I think there's a golden trout in the water over there. Like a big one. I thought that was just something I was seeing in the water, but it looks like a golden trout. I mean, it's really like orangey in the water. That's pretty neat. Never caught one of those before. See if we can get him interested. I'm going to turn the camera off, preserve my my battery. All right, so I just switched to this Leland lure trout magnet, rainbow trout colored crankbait. I'm still gonna try for that. Well, it looks to me like a golden trout. They do stock them in here, so see if he wants this. I think I threw that behind him. I hope I'm not stuck on something. Oh boy. Wow, interesting. So I really don't want to break this off, obviously. This is a nice lure. And I don't want to get close to that trout and scoop the trout. There's a lot of... I hope I didn't break it off. And it looks like I did. Wow, first cast. Nothing like losing a lure on your first cast. Alright, so I switched over to this swim bait. I'm going to see if this will work. I'm just, you know, always curious to try new things, so swim bait. It's a little Kitech, like 1 3/4" swim bait. So again, I think this is the first time I've ever fished a swim bait, so you know, just going by what I've seen, just kind of pull it through the water and bounce it up and down. Hopefully we'll get that fish to bite, and I swear to God I'm stuck again. Huh. This is crazy, man. He must be hanging out by like some sort of snag. Oh, there we go. Oh. swear I got it out and then something hit it. So, the tail's still there. See if I can just get him up further onto that little keeper. See if we can try that again. I think that's a snag. Like, come on. There we go. Oh man, I saw that trout. He's moving fast. He might have been interested in that. I mean, he moved out of his spot to come after that. Man, I do not understand. What is right there? It must be like a down log or something. I'm hitting it like every time. Oh, and quick update. I went to look for my fly fishing stuff, and of course I brought my fly rod, my fly reel, but I didn't bring any of my fly boxes. They're in my car, so we'll have to do a reset. I'll have to go back to my car and, you know, get everything for fly fishing. Just shove that in there. It's just a regular backpack. But I'll tell you what, those Kitex, man, they got like a, you know, a scent on them, but they are slippery as hell. Not real fond of that. You know, it's bad enough the fish are slimy and you get all slimed up, you know, and then you got to wash your hands off, but my goodness, these things are really slimy. Whoa, I saw something come up and snag it. Wow. I don't know if that was a trout or if that was a bass, but that thing hit right 3 feet away from me. So they're definitely interested in that little swim bait. And that little paddle tail's going. Not a huge back and forth, but probably creating enough vibration where they're interested. Really want to catch that golden trout, man. That would be fun. Oh, I think that was a smallmouth. I'll have to check the tape and see if I can tell, but it looked like a smallmouth, but could have been a trout. And it was really aggressive. And again, this is, you know, 4-pound line. I can't really, let's take it a little easier on this guy. Woo! That's got to be a smallmouth. No. No. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a beauty. Oh. Woo! Ugh, look at that, right in the corner of the mouth. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Woo! Yeah, look at that. He loved that. This might have been the same one that came after it like 3 times. Oh my God. Yeah, he's a pretty one. Let's get him back in the water. Wow. That is so fun on spinning gear. I mean, I really want to go back to my car now, get my fly stuff. You know, this is, you know, a fast action fly fishing channel, so. But again, I'm learning new things. Trying to have fun fishing. I don't want to, you know, be one of those guys that says there's no other types of fly, you know, no other types of fishing but fly fishing. You know, this is fun. I'm definitely more of an active fisherman, right? I like to move around a lot. Obviously, I'm sitting in one place here, but I'm not just sitting there throwing my pole in the water and, you know, waiting for a fish to take it. You know, that's some people's idea of fishing, and, you know, certain species of fish, you kind of have to do that, right? You know, you're catfishing, sometimes you're carping, right? Those fish are not really fast predators. So I like to kind of, you know, move around, throw a lot of different things. Really want to try to get that trout though. I'm afraid I'm getting snagged over there though every time I go over there. Alright, let me leave him alone for a while. See if he'll get more interested later. You know, I'll probably come back with fly stuff. But just slowly reeling this in, giving it a quick jerk every now and then, letting that paddle tail do the work, right? Not too different than fly fishing. I mean, I'm using an artificial lure. I'm, you know, picking my targets, obviously. And then I'm trying to give the bait a little bit of action through, you know, how I'm retrieving it, right? So, fishing's fishing. There's different ways of doing it, but it's a great activity, I'll tell you what. I mean, I've caught some pretty big largemouth and smallmouth out of here. I'm hoping to get some bigger ones. On this light gear, it'll be interesting because when I've caught bigger fish in here, I've had, you know, 8-pound test spinning gear, you know, or you know, fly gear. Obviously, it's just kind of like a different animal, but, you know, heavier weight stuff. Not like a 5'6", you know, 5.5 foot rod. I think it's 5.5 foot. I don't even think it might not even be that big. Might be 4.5 foot. I'd have to see. There, let me. Oh yeah, no, that's only 4.5 foot. So 4.5 foot, 4-pound test line. Really lightweight stuff. Well, it briefly relaxed raining for a little while there, but it's picking back up again. I mean, that's kind of the weather forecast for the next 24 hours, just rain, occasionally stopping, but at least right now it's light. There's no thunder, no lightning, right? So I don't mind getting wet, but you really don't want to mess with any sort of thunder or lightning, wind too. I mean, if it gets really windy around here, I'd be afraid some of these tree branches would fall. Plus, you know, the temperature just feels worse with the wind. All right, I'm going to turn the camera off again, preserve some battery and some memory, and I'll turn it back on when I catch a fish. Just snagged another fish. on that Kitech swim bait. Looks like another smallmouth. Smaller than that first one. Kitech's getting beaten up. Look at that. It's about the size we get them in the Chamonix. If you've seen my other videos. You see that Kitech's really taking a beating. Probably only have a couple more casts, and then I'm gonna have to replace him or replace the bait. Kind of moved over a little bit. I'm standing in the water, throwing upstream, fishing it downstream. Not too unlike a fish would swim, right? I mean, fish might not be swimming upstream, right? They might swim across current, down current. But it's not too often a fish is going to swim up current, right? I mean, they might be facing up current, but when you're swimming your bait, you want to try to do it as natural as possible. So you want to kind of think of how you're presenting your lure. Still haven't caught that golden yet. He's moving around, but he's not interested. That's probably why he's still here, because they stocked the goldens back in the end of March. So he might have been a holdout since then. So he's a pretty smart fish. I just hooked into something bigger. I'm hoping it felt big when he hit it. It's definitely not a snag. Oh, just a tough smallmouth. He hit it hard. Good fight. Oh yeah, I mean, he took it deeper than the other fish have taken it, so it's probably why he felt bigger. Come on, buddy. Pop it out. Save the swim bait. Again, nice fish. Man, again, they got like parasites on their fins. Kind of curious to see what that's all about. Looks like almost like leeches. Got them off. And hopefully they won't get on me. Maybe he'll want to eat them. But it looked like leeches on his fin. That was interesting. I'll have to check myself at the end of the day. Make sure I don't have any leeches on me. But that's not usually common. Well, I guess I don't want to talk out of turn, but generally speaking, moving water, you tend to see a lot less leeches. And usually better water quality, you don't see as many leeches, right? I mean, leeches are parasites, and they'll be present where, you know, nothing's really taking them out, or where they have an abundance of food to feed off of. So it's possible maybe they, you know, these smallmouth are coming out of the lake, or Lake Nakamixin, or the leeches are coming out of the Lake Nakamixin, right? Because that's a stagnant body of water, generally speaking. So, and maybe that's why they're getting into this waterway. A little bit of a snag there. See if I can walk towards it and get it out. I think I could see it actually. There we go. Again, be, you know, firm, but not, you know, ripping it out of there, right? I mean, just kind of relax and do your best, change directions. You'll be able to get that snag out of there, hopefully. I mean, obviously earlier I lost that crankbait, but you know, you win some, you lose some. I hate losing stuff in the creek. You know, somebody might be walking in, step on that one day, or you know, generally there's going to be pollution, so you don't get it out of the water. It's, you know, plastic. I thought the bite wasn't on today, but I'm getting some smallmouth, that one trout, and that one rather large redbreast sunfish. So, not too shabby. Again, I'm going to turn it off and come back on when I got a fish. Alright, so I've moved downstream quite a bit. Haven't had much luck. I think I hooked into a big trout right here. I'm in some deeper, faster moving water. This is a much bigger fish. Throwing an inline spinner just to cover a lot of water. It's going to be tough to land this fish because, again, I'm in faster water, so he might have a little bit of advantage from where I'm at to where he's at. See if I can just kind of move him into this little softer patch of water over here. Actually, I don't know. This might just be a nice smallmouth. Yeah. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. No, no, no. Oh yeah, I thought this was a trout at first. Again, I am in a bad position here to try to wrangle him in on 4-pound test. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. And again, I have like zero leverage with this rod. So I'm going to have to horse him in with the line. Oh, yeah. All right, buddy. All right, buddy. Okay. Wow, look at that guy. Got him right in the tongue. It'll be a little tough to get that out of him. Ooh. Actually, it's kind of in a really bad spot. He's bleeding pretty good. That's not good. Let's see what I can do to get him back in the water. Rinse him off a little bit there. I have some pliers. Try to get in there and get these trebs off of them. Alright, come on, buddy, help me out here. Okay, I believe I got it out of him. Oop, now he's stuck in the top. And it's one reason I don't like fishing treble hooks. There he is. Hopefully he'll be alright. Again, I think he just took a little bit in the gills. But nice smallmouth. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. You good? Come on, buddy. There he goes. Alright. Well, hopefully he makes it. It was a good fish. I think I'm going to try to get myself in a better position, because again, I don't want to take that long to fight a fish. It's kind of a shame. I thought he was a trout, but I wasn't out of the water too long. It was all real time, right? Didn't cut the camera off or nothing, so hopefully he lives. That's a nice big fish. Alright, I'm going to try to move positions and then get back to fishing.